Hi, and welcome to Saturday Strolling. Hopefully we get this out on Saturday. Today is the 21st of September, 2024. It is a beautiful day for people who love Colorado's cooler weather. It is, I think the high is going to be like 65-ish. So for me, that's a little cold, so I do have some long sleeves on. I had my house robe on earlier, but it is also my husband's aunt's birthday party celebration today, and trying to get everything done before we left. I almost forgot to record this, so I'm going to record it, let it all download. Hopefully we'll get it out to you guys today. If not, then look for it on Sunday. With that said, let's get into it. Let's take a last look at our beautiful little Lycaste here. She is starting to go over. The other bloom that was there last week has already died off. But this is the Lycaste Little Kitty. Oh, it's a little kitty crossed with little kitty. So here we are. Lycaste Little Kitty User number 1 crossed with Lycaste Little Kitty User number 2. But that new growth, let me just drop that in there. There we go. That new growth is really coming right on along. And then the Vandopsis Gigantea that we looked at last week, she was in like the little seedling cup. I said I had to upgrade her. Had not intended on upgrading her to this size pot right here. However, the roots that she had in there were amazing, and they wouldn't fit in the pot I wanted to put her in. So she is in this, I believe this is a 4-inch pot. And I did add more not moss, but bark and perlite. The other was basically just moss with some perlite. So heavy moss, but some bark and perlite in there. And so far, she's doing really well. I did repot her actually last Saturday, so she's been up here about a week. Everyone else up here has not done anything new. So far, I've not found any more strays hanging out here. And Morgan is, like I said, looks like she's going to be senescing these bottom leaves, which she's not senesced any since I've had her, so that's not too bad. And then my Goldstaff here that is in Leca is growing out of her pot. I will have to probably reposition her at some point. I may do that in the spring. I may do it before. The nice thing about growing indoors, you can kind of repot when you want to, really, as long as you stick to the rules of, you know, new growth, new roots. But since she's going right back into Leca, I'm just lowering her. So keep a lookout for that and let me know if you notice. And while I'm still on the chair, and we have an eagle's eye view of the ladies here, the Tai-Shing Fly Eagle back here is just, look at this leaf right here. Look at the size of that leaf. It is actually just, it's still soft, so I don't know if she's still growing it, but that other leaf that we saw last week, look how much it's grown in a week. And I know that white spot does look like it's a visitor. However, I think it's mechanical damage because I did take my alcohol and toothbrush and paintbrush, but it's just there. So I think that's mechanical damage. Hieroglyphica, look, I know. We saw these last week, but look how pretty. Let me see if I can get it up here without messing anything up. Look at this. Look how beautiful she is. Oh, I just snapped off. I don't know what I snapped off, but I did snap off something. I saw it fall, but look at that gorgeousness. And look at this leaf. Look at the size of that new leaf on the Yin's Black Eagle. I am most impressed with her, and there is what I knocked off. I think that was the little nose piece. I'm not sure what all the parts are called right now. My brain's not functioning that well. Cornucervi is just, again, I'm waiting for some beautiful blooms. I want to see that smiley face. If you watch Nina over at Ninja's Orchids, she has one of these, and it's her fault that I have this one, but this is the Ninja Orchid. If you're a member, this is kind of our orchid, but the blooms on her are gorgeous, and she pointed out they look like they smile, so now I want to see that. And then Bellina, the bloom, not the bloom, but the bud has opened up. So let's see if we can get that into focus. There we go. And her smell is starting to get stronger and stronger. It's now where I'm in this area, I can smell it. Like I'm about a foot away from her, and I smell her already. And I am doing my best to keep all of this happy sap off of her. because I don't want it to attract anything. That's a glare. That wasn't any bugs on there, guys. But she's already working on another bud, so I will have to clean her as well. I clean her about every 3 days. Get that sap off, and in a little bit we'll look at Kid Blues, same thing. Lots of sap on the spike. Oh, also the Bellina Carula that hadn't done anything for a while, I think is going to be okay. I know she's in a really big pot for the size, but her root system was actually pretty good. It's just the top of her doesn't look very good. Sorry about that, I had a cough. And Yapon Evergreen, again, just continually putting out blooms on both spikes, and I let their blooms completely go over. Now, because she is bright yellow, I will probably clip this off in the next day or so. In a moment, you'll see why I say that. Let's see, is there anything else up here that we didn't talk about last week? Oh, Wild Type is still not open. She'll be open next week, though. And then I believe that's everything on this shelf. I believe I completely ignored these guys last week, but the Nodosa, no, that's the, yeah, it is a Nodosa, but it's the Little Stars, is putting out lots and lots of new growth with lots of root growth as well. And then my Hookeriana has lost a couple of leaves. It did get attacked by some visitors. Soft clouds right here. She hasn't skipped a beat. She did have a few visitors on her, but she's just going on about her business. Hippodomia, again, there's 2 pieces on here, and it also has lots of growth coming along. Probably another year before it blooms. I did get it as a seedling. I've had her for about 3 years, so maybe 2026 she'll bloom for us. And then Unicum here is still doing fine. It's just the one cane, but she did have he did have another cane here earlier in the season, and a couple of weeks ago it started this other one, so I have continued to water and feed this one. Here we have Iris, who was really moved into, so we had to really get in there and dig and clean her out. And I found the honeymoon suite. So that empty spot right there is where the Paphiopedilum male star used to live. I have moved her, isolated her, because in between all of her leaf joints, there is a whole party going on. So I'm gonna have to get in there, take her out. I should have repotted her a couple of months ago when I said, so I could have caught it a little bit earlier. However, live and learn, right? Live and learn. And then both of these girls down here are doing fine. No more visitors on this one since moving the honeymoon suite somewhere else. I did take everything off here, sprayed everything down with alcohol, wiped underneath, wiped the walls. Same thing on all the shelves here in the area. Hope, fingers crossed, everything works out. And speaking of bright yellow, so I've had these yellow fly trappy things. They're bigger than I thought they were supposed to be. I thought they were a little bit smaller where I could kind of stick them inside the plant boxes, but it didn't work out that way. So I've had them for months, and I was, again, cleaning out underneath the shelf, and that's where they were. So I've got a few hanging out just to see what I have, because thinking back before I started really having a problem, like I had the mealybug here or there, but not like I have now. And it was because back in the day, something like this, as soon as it started getting like this, if there were other leaves, now obviously on this one I'm not going to, because this is a recovering orchid, but let's say it was on my Vanda here and she had a bottom yellowing leaf, I would go ahead and take it off. I would not allow it to completely dry off before, because these are bright yellow. When our orchids are losing leaves or senescing a leaf, an older leaf, they become kind of a bright yellow, which attracts the bugs. And I was not having the same problem. Obviously, I have way more plants now, but I really think that that contributed to it, as well as I have not been wiping my leaves every month like I was in the past. I've been very lazy and neglectful on my care. So moving forward, that is something I'm going to do. I actually ordered a little small feather duster to see if that would help. We'll see. But right in our face is our beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Pearl Cooper. Guys, she was so worth the 3-year wait. So worth that 3-year wait. Oh my goodness. And last week I said the last time I posted a video about the Brookside family was in 23. I actually lied when I went back to add it to the video description. Actually, it was 2022 that I called 2024. So I'm a psychic. I am a psychic. I need to go work for Dionne Warwick. For those of you who know, you know. And then I believe Maxima back here is probably going to have to go into another pot next year. It has been in this clay pot for 2 years. I put it in here. Now this is 2 pieces that I got from Yoshi back in 21 as a freebie. It was a little small seedling. It was actually 2 when I repotted. Potted it up in this together in 22, and as you can see, it's already trying to grow out of this pot. So I may have to up pot this one and cut some of the old seedlings off because I didn't do any of that. I just took it out and put it in there. This one here, my Willamette Wong, look at this crazy growth, how it's growing. At first I thought it was broken, but it's not. It literally is just grown kind of wanky like that. So I'm not sure why. But you know what? I'm going to let her do her. And then RTH Lois McNeil, definitely look at how fast that one's going. This one is a definite growth. And then I was looking at it earlier. This one right there is going to go ahead and take off. So I do have a little small humidifier here. Again, I used to keep the humidity a little bit higher, so I am using smaller humidifiers kind of on the shelves. And since they're lined, it's not going all the way through, and I'm hoping to kind of create more of a humid area on each shelf. I will have to get a few more humidifiers, you know, to continue that. But for now, I'm just kind of moving it around and kind of creating a little bit of humidity in the area. And I did move Lindley Eye over here. I don't think, because I know during the growing season, they say they don't need a lot of light to grow. However, he didn't do anything all spring. He did not grow one single solitary new growth. This is all from 2023. So I just went ahead and moved it over here, and then I'm going to try to encourage some more growth. Soon as I see some new roots, I am going to remount. I'm probably going to put on the same mount. It just needs to come off of here and be repositioned, cleaned up, some of the babies taken off, that kind of thing. What else over here? I'm pretty sure there's nothing else interesting other than these guys. Like, I am very, very pleased with how spring fragrance here at Paradise is recovering. Lots of lovely new growths. And I think, like I was saying last week, I think it's going to do better on a mount because you can see it's a crawler. And I think it'll just do better on a mount as opposed to a pot. I thought putting it in that big square pot was a good idea, and it was for a minute, but after a while it just didn't like it. Cyclops here. This new growth is coming right on along nicely there. And then I'm thinking, and you guys tell me what you think, I'm going to go later on today or tomorrow. I thought I had some in the garage, but I don't. You know the little plastic saucers that you can put under plants to drip and catch the water? I'm thinking of getting like a little deep one like this to put here that I can fill up so that the lava rock and the roots can kind of absorb the water, because this one's starting to dehydrate really quickly. The roots are actually starting to grow. I don't know if I can show you without messing it up. Hold on, let's see. Because do you see the little root poking out right here? Yeah, so she's got a few of those back there, and then she's got a really long one that hangs down the back of the shelf. And I thought that let me move Blue out of the way, right there in between the spikes there. I thought Angel Eyes was going to be open, but she has popped, like the tip is open, but she hasn't quite opened her bloom. So you'll have to come back next week to see that. And then this is what I was talking about. See how sappy her spike is? And I did find a couple of visitors on some of her blooms, but we did take care of that. And I do have one down here. And I think I took a picture and really did a close-up, but I believe that is a no more mealybug. That's what that looks like. So maybe it is working. Time will tell. So this is another area I want to put a humidifier here, just so these ladies can get a little bit more humidity. They're kind of in the middle of the room. There's a ceiling fan, not right above them, but let's just say the ceiling fan, my hand is the ceiling fan. It's like right about here. So it's not too far away from them, and I feel like they dry out a little bit quicker, and I feel like if maybe I put like a humidifier up here every few days, it'll kind of help hydrate them a little bit. So far, knock on wood, no one has decided to room in any of these. I did find a couple on my, which one is this? This is the orange one, isn't it? The Phalaenopsis, oh my goodness, focus. Put it down. My hands are shaking. Oh, yeah, I got it from Brooksides. There we go. The Phalaenopsis Icing Venus. She's kind of goldish yellow, or goldish orange, but she's so pretty. She's not bloomed for me since I've gotten her in 22. So she's been in this. I just put her back in. She's been in this pot since I repotted her after receiving her, but she is freshened up now. And wait, is that? Oh no, that was just a little dust particle. Okay. Oh, I was about to get a little upset, y'all. I was getting a little upset. And then I have decided that I'm not going to give up on my Ladoro completely. I am going to take her out, look at her, see what's going on, see if there's anything in there that we can salvage. Maybe put her in a smaller pot. Maybe, let's see, no, that's not active. But if there's nothing I can do, then obviously we'll have to bin her. But if there's something underneath the pot that can possibly save her, I am going to keep her. If not, she will get replaced. This is definitely one I want to recover, or always have recover, preferably. This one's doing fine. We have a little empty pot. I have a plan for this pot. I had some Hoya in here, and well, it was one of those let me save it type thing, because it was at the grocery store, and it was supposed to be the Publicalyx Splash, I believe, and it was so wet. Oh my God, it was so wet. So I took it out, repotted it, thinking that that would help, and now I've got a couple of pieces in propagation. So fingers crossed they make it. And of course, not much has changed with these guys. Everybody's just doing their growing, but as you can see, my maxillaria over there has not been dehydrated. I've been keeping up with its watering, as well as this mount, all the mounts I've been keeping up with. I have kept up with all of the watering for here, and our yellow twinkle, the spike is growing. It's just, like I said last week, these things just take forever. However, look how much this one has grown. This is the unknown Phalaenopsis dendrobium that I got from Ken, I believe in 23. It was either 22 or 23. I'm almost certain. No, I didn't grow outside last year, so it had to be in 22 because I was growing outside when I got it. But look at that spike. It's just coming right on along. And then look how quick, like I am amazed at how this Sherry baby that I got from Sherry, which thank you again, Sherry, how quickly it has grown. It has not skipped a beat since I got it. It did not go through a pouty phase. It just kept right on growing her growth. So proud of that. And again, look, 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 no constantining. Somebody's been watering. Also, if you get these kind of spots on here, guys, this is from dehydration. This is what will happen if you allow your oncidiums to dry out too much. You will get these little brown spots as long as they're not wet and spreading. Now, if they're spreading, obviously that's a different issue. But if they're just spotting and they're dry spots, that's dehydration. Because you can see, let's see, do I have another one? Like you can see on the Miltassia, see the little brown spots? That's when she was severely dehydrated. So don't be too concerned as long as they're not wet and they're not spreading. Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it with the glare, but let's see. Up there it is. Do you see? We have a nice new growth right here by my finger. And I don't remember showing you guys this last week because I don't remember seeing it. If I did, I apologize, but my old brain, to me, this is new. And then, of course, we have that new one there. And then we have, well, we have this one, and then we have this one. So that's 4. And this is the one that I got last year in 23 from the Denver Orchid Show. When I joined the Denver Orchid Society, they were giving out free plants. And of course, I had to get the biggest one, and it was a Sologeny. I'd never grown it. I was like, well, it's free. If whoever donated it didn't want it, if I destroy it, then it's not a big deal, but I'm so happy that I didn't. So hopefully, maybe in 25, we'll get some blooms off of some new growth. Let me know your prediction. I wanted to show you guys the neighborhood cat. This little kitty comes around all the time. I wish it was a little more friendly. I try to chat with it. I've left it a little food because I would love to bring that inside, especially with the winter coming. Don't think it belongs to anybody, but isn't that just beautiful? Don't know if it's a male or female, but that is a gorgeous, gorgeous cat. Of course, the Miltonia is actually doing better than I thought. I had pulled it out, kind of looked at it, and it is growing roots. It's doing fine. I'm just probably overthinking it and not being patient. But I do feel like it would benefit from a little more light because it is kind of in a shaded area. Let me know what you think down below. Do I need to add more light, or should I just leave it alone and just be patient? Because if you don't know me, I'm not the most patient of people, and I grow orchids, surprise. But how this one here, do you see how it's all brown and drying off? So what I'll do after the video, I will just clip all the way to here until this part right here. And this way it doesn't attract any friends. And it is senescing from the top, like this piece here is already kind of popped off. And this one got dehydrated, and that's kind of why it looks like this. So my fault all completely. Miss Vanda over here is just doing its Vanda thing, but look, we might have us a Mewtwo King Bellina bloom maybe next week. Predictions? Leave them in the comments. And then I did move the Hauserman Vanda a little bit more under the grow light that's right above it. And I have set timers on my phone actually to remind me to water, like the Vandas and some of the ones that I know need more water than just maybe once a week. So I think that is helping as well. It's keeping her hydrated. I don't think I showed you guys the last spike on our jewel orchid here. And she is up under there because she's done spiking, and they don't really need a lot of light, so they can grow in bright indirect light, which is kind of what she's growing in. She's not in nice bright light. She's just in indirect bright light. And then this Phalaenopsis is one of the original rescues. She used to hang. I need to take her out and lower her because her stem is out of the media, and as you can see, she's growing a nice new leaf. So I think if I put her down lower, that will encourage some roots from the base. Bellina back there is just living her life. That's the second one, and it's not doing as well as the one in Leca, but you know what? It's living. It's surviving. She's just taking her time. I did move this one. This is another original from the ICPUs that I received, which for those of you who don't know, ICPU is Intensive Care Plant Unit. And that was coined by Ken from Orchid Supply Store, who is our sponsor here at Trisha's Orchid Life. And if you'd like a 12% discount on orchids, on pots, on media of all types, he's got orchid supplies, he's got regular houseplant supplies, he's got clear pots, he's got decorative pots. That one right there, right here, where am I? There. That one right there is a decorative pot that he has. He's got birdhouses, you name it, he's got it. Go get it. Get your 12% using discount code TRISH at checkout. But this one I've had since 23, and this is, or maybe 22 or 23. But this is a Phalaenopsis OX Spot Queen. She's only grown one leaf really, this one. since I've had her. And I used to keep her on the little metal shelf we just looked at with all the phals. So I put her here, a little brighter light, refreshed her a little bit. This is the same media she's been in, because I don't keep her that wet, and everything was still nice and fresh, so to speak. But I put her in a taller pot, so hopefully that will get her going. And she did have active root tips, so I have been looking for leaf activity, but so far not seen anything. Cherry Baby is still just loving her life in front of this east-facing window. And I do have a room humidifier here that kind of helps create a little bit of humidity in this area. The Royal Chip, of course, is just shooting up new growths. I was hoping with the refresh that it would encourage it to push out some blooms. And while I'm speaking, I believe we might actually get them. We've got some activity in there. We've got the potential anyway. And I know I keep harping about these blooms, but her blooms are so pretty. Another one that I got from Yoshi over at Orchids by the Lake, oh, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago. And it came as a decent sized plant, but she's probably tripled in size since I've gotten her. If I can find a picture of when I first got her, I'll post it. Otherwise, just trust me, she's tripled in size. And I'm going to, oh, there's another one of my little trappy things. I'm going to pull this one out. And again, I'm not going to pronounce the name because I'm a horrible, I can't say simple names. So we know Trisha's not going to say that. All right, and this is another one that I got last year at the Orchid Show with the Denver Orchid Society. But look, I don't know if it'll pick it up. But can you tell how it's got little hints of pink? If you look at the one on the right, it's a little more dull, and then the one on the left, look at that. It's got little pink in it, and I don't know if I can get enough light on it, but it is so pretty. I'm so impressed with that growth. Look how big that is compared to the previous. Let's see if I can get it where you can see it. So that's the previous, and then this is the one that grew this year for me. So I am enjoying that. So enjoying that. My Paphiopedilum niveum part 1 is doing rather well in this little setup here, which is mainly moss and bark and perlite. And I don't think, yep, okay, I do have a fantasy, Cherry Baby, I always forget this name, and you would think I'd remember. Red Fantasy. I knew I had fantasy in it, but this one I got from Nicole Deanna in July of 2021. I've gotten it to bloom once. I did not get any pictures, and I've not had it bloom since, but I see a yellow. So what I will do is I just tear it off. And even though, so as you can see, it's still wet. It's not completely dried off. I pull those off so that I discourage visitors to this particular room. And then over here, I don't know about Princess. I don't know if she is going to make it. Like, I feel like there's another little growth in there coming up. Do you see that? Or that might just be part of this, because I do know that that little stub there had roots on it when I put it in here. So if not, I may or may not replace her. I know I've said in the past I would replace her, but she is an awfully big girl. And I don't know if I have the space for her, especially with some of the other things that I've been adding to my collection. So if I lose her, I'll have to think about replacing her. And then my Cintian here did have some visitors. She was losing a middle leaf. And so I was like, oh, wait a minute, that is not right. So if you lose a leaf here, and especially if it's yellowing from the bottom out, there's a problem. It is not natural. And of course, we had a little group having a party in there, so we took care of that. And that I've been watching this every day and just taking a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just wiping down the bases and the creases to get ahead of the life cycle of those freaking things. And then of course Dusty Bell is doing fine, and because we had visitors here, I check everybody every day just to make sure Paphiopedilum macrobay pops. New growth here is coming right on along, and the little baby one is coming right on along as well. And then this is my Cleopatra, aka Yin Yang. That's what I called her before. I believe, Sherry, you helped me name this one. But look at the size of that leaf. Look at this. That was the one before it. This was her latest leaf, which she's starting to harden off. And I was gonna wait until next year to remedia her, excuse me, but she is starting to hang out of this pot and lean forward, and I don't like that. So I will be remediating, is that even a word? Replacing the media. I will be replacing the media this year. Look at the size. This is the best leaf that my Jiho Summer Love fragrant has given. Look at the size of that thing. That is huge compared to these little small ones that was given me before. So I think she likes it. And then I have Pulchra sitting up here just chilling out. Once I put the royal chip right there, this hanging pot was just sitting almost right above, like the leaves of royal chip were right here, and I didn't want to, you know, risk damaging them. So she's living her life up here, just enjoying it, doing rather well. I thought I'd get on the chair so we could really take a good look at the Zygopedilum zygonoecias. So this is the Marasaki Part 1, and this is its latest new growth right back here, and then this was the one before it. So there's actually two coming out of this one. And then this is my Sensor Blue. That is a new growth back there. I did have to stake it up just to make sure that when I take it up and down, I don't damage. And then as you can see, we have another new growth that's not really doing well because as you can see, it's growing out. None of her roots are going in. This is the one that I still need to refresh the media and take some of the older growth off so that I can get this one in and possibly make it two and pop them back together. My macrobay little cakey, I'm assuming. I don't know if it's going to make it. I've been keeping the media, which is mainly moss, fairly damp. It needs another watering, but I'm just going to see. It's just an experiment. If I lose it, not a big deal. As you can see, I've got a nice size one. And then as you can see, this old leaf has completely dried off, and I did not notice that before. I don't know how. We'll be taking that off as soon as we are done with the video. And I believe this one is pink leaves or small leaves, I think is what I called it before, but we finally have a nice new growth. The last leaf that it made was not that impressive compared to previous. And then this is a Mendenhall, DTPS Mendenhall, I believe that's a duplicate of one I've already got. I'm not 100% sure. Second Love, let's see if we can see. There's that nice new growth I told y'all about last week. Do you see that? Beautiful. And then my Phalaenopsis equestris, crossed back with self, is working on this leaf. And roots. Gigantea is kind of taking a break. She's not grown a new leaf. Whoops, not grown a new leaf since I put her in this basket, but she's not senescent either. So fingers crossed, now that I've said it, it doesn't happen. Japonica, I can't tell because there's a freaking glare, but yes, okay. And this is another one that was being used as a party hotel as well. And then the Speciosa Red hasn't done anything since her last bloom and leaf growth, but you know, we'll let her just relax and do what she needs to do. All right, and then the only thing different with Miss Renee is she is still pushing out those roots. And then this one here, since I did pull out the dried off sheathing, I don't know. Like I said, the next growth that it has, if it comes out that the leaf is blackens, I'm just going to have to let this one go. This one I've had since 2020. Yeah, I've had it since 2020. I grew it outside in 21 and 22, and that's where a lot of this damage is coming from. Before that, she looked fairly decent. but she's starting to get a little leathery. And then these little spots here, I've looked on the back. I don't see anything, but if anybody knows what might be causing this, because that might be where my problem is. See if I can show you the back. See, there's the back of the leaf. So I don't necessarily see anything with my naked eye, but if you have experienced, and this right here is mechanical damage. If you have experienced this, let me know what you think it might be and what I can do to fix it. And I won't be touching any other plants just in case. With that said, my Fred Clark After Dark, look at the roots. And I have slowly been introducing water, and the moss is now kind of damp. It's not wet, but it's not crunchy. So that's a good thing. And then down here, we just have our wax balls, the Greek wax ball that I got from Paula over at Hillbilly Orchids, again back in 21. She bloomed for me for the first time last year, and since then has bloomed off of each new growth, which has only been 2, but hey, I'm going to take it. I don't think that Maxima crossed with Horace Maxima crossed with Potnera Dick Smith is going to do anything with that bloom, but look at the size of that new stonker coming right there. This weekend I have to repot her. I will lose my window because those roots are starting to really work their way in. So if I'm going to do it, it's now, or just I'll have to wait. And of course the little white one here, I say little, look at the size of her, she's huge. But look at the new, I like how this new growth has grown straight instead of all bent down. I keep wanting to touch her and having to remember I touched something, I don't know what it is. But it used to just grow all wanky, and I do have a humidifier back there that I run once a day again, just to kind of create some extra humidity in the space. And I thought I'd give you guys a little sneak peek of videos to come. So I will be doing videos on my alocasias that I have recently gathered. This one here is a papillamum, I think is how you say it, crossed with forgetti or forgettii, depending on where you're from. And then, of course, philodendrons. And this one here, y'all have seen this one, is my Mitsiliana. But look at her leaves. So I got that leaf. Well, no, we got this leaf, then we got this leaf, and look at this one. We've got a whole new leaf coming. Out of the 3 sections that I have, this one is doing the best by far. So keep a lookout for those. I will also be doing an update on La Jolla, because not only have the Hoyas that we saw in the last update grown rather large, I've also maybe acquired another 1 or 2, so keep a lookout for that. Hope you guys have a great week ahead, and I'll see you next Saturday.